You can see the faithfulness of God towards your life inside of the person of Jesus Christ. And you're actually supposed to see your life in the face of Jesus so that you could have your life discerned for you. Your life with God. The most important thing for us is what we think about our life with God. And if you want to know about the faithfulness of God towards your life, to uphold your life, to serve you with life, you see it in the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Because even when Jesus' bed was made in sin, not his own sin, but our sin, God showed up and raised him up out of the miry clay and clothed upon his nakedness with an incorruptible life and sat him at the right hand, never to be able to be touched by sin or death again. Now listen, man, there's a reason why it wasn't his sin that he had, and it was our sin, so that we could see the way God would be with us when he found us dead in our sin. That even should we make our bed in hell, like the psalmist says, that God is there with us. And he comes and draws near to us, and he joins himself to us in our death so he could raise us up out of death and bring us to a place where we could never die again. Hallelujah. And when you start seeing that God, what happens is you begin to think, he who began a good work in me will complete it. Right? And you start to see that, like the Waymaker song says, you never stop working. What happens is when you see that he who began a good work in you will complete it, what happens is you're made still. That's why it says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it's him who works in you, both the will and the desire, the good work. And so the fear and trembling there is that you're so in awe of God's faithfulness towards you because you see that he never stops working to form within you his life. He never stops working to circumcise from your heart all the things that have tried to destroy your life, that you're made still. You're in awe. That's what fear and trembling means. It means to stand in awe of the glory of God and the goodness in his heart towards you. That even when he finds you dead in sin, he's not ashamed of your nakedness, but he draws near to you and is a father to your life. He picks you up out of the miry clay. He fills you with the wine of his life. He makes a place for you to stay with him in his house for all eternity. Hallelujah. Now, when you start to see that God, you'll be made still because you can't believe it. There's that whole period of time where you can't believe it, where your heart will even try to talk you out of it. No, can't be. No, it can't be. Your heart will still try to condemn you for the things you've done wrong. Your heart will still try to condemn you for the things you think you're still doing wrong. And the more your heart tries to condemn you, the more God shows up and it's only good to you. And then you start getting a revelation that this guy has begun a good work in me. This guy has drawn near to me to form his life within me, and he is relentless in his pursuit of serving me with his life. We see the God that doesn't want us to serve him, but that wants to serve us in the person of Jesus Christ. When Peter wants to wash Jesus' feet, and Jesus says, no, I'm here to wash your feet. Man, when you start to see that God, it's all the time wanting to wash you clean from the effects of this world, from the effects of death. He's all the time trying to cleanse your conscience from the fear that's in this world from death. That he's all the time trying to lift his goodness up in your heart so that you see he can only ever be good to you. Man, when you start to see that God, you're made still. Just like the Hebrews were made still when the Red Sea parted. And they saw this God can even part the Red Sea. My goodness, right? That will make you still. And then what happens is your mind is no longer filled with your own works, but your mind becomes filled with that song. He never stops working. Every time you see something wrong in your life, every time you see yourself doing something wrong in your life, your mind isn't filled with your own good works. Your mind isn't filled with what you can do to produce life, but your mind starts singing that song. You start humming it. He never stops working. He never stops. And next thing you know, you got all the people around you singing the song. I flew out to that conference in Branson. I didn't realize this when I made the arrangements, but it was Mardi Gras Day that I flew out. And so, the party is not just in the streets on Mardi Gras Day. The party is in the airport because the people are trying to suck every last little bit of the party out. And so they leave from the street right to their flight. Well, man, we were in the security line, and I didn't even realize it, but I was humming a song underneath my breath. And the lady in front of me, she heard me humming the song, and she started singing the song out loud, like a cappella. It's like a flash mob. All of a sudden, everybody in the security lines started singing the song together, dancing. You know, it was like, my goodness, man. What happens is when that song is born in your heart, he never stops working. And your eyes see this guy always working to serve you with life. He doesn't look at you and say, well, you not have life in this area. You're not really doing good in this area. We need you to fix that up. No. He sees into the depths of your heart. He understands why you could not be experiencing life in that heart. And he knows he's God. He's not confused about him being God. He's not confused that he's Father. So when he sees that there's an area in your life where you're struggling in, he doesn't look at you and tell you to fix it. He knows that he's Father, and he's going to show up, and he's going to work, and he's going to do a work in your heart to heal it. When you see that God, listen, man, he never stops working. That becomes the song in your heart. You no longer have any space in your conscience for your own works because you see his conscience isn't filled with your works. You start to think only of his work. Hallelujah.